When was the last time you faced conflict? Maybe it was a betrayal. Your best friend stole the person you loved, leaving you questioning every moment of trust you shared. Or maybe you've sensed manipulation, a family member subtly steering you toward the wrong career by planting seeds of doubt about your true passion. How did you handle it? If you're like most people, you've likely handled conflict by avoiding it, pretending the problem doesn't exist. Or maybe you've let your emotions take over, lashing out in anger. Perhaps you've even tried to manipulate the situation, using sly and deceitful tactics to gain the upper hand. These reactions might feel natural in the moment, but they often lead to poor outcomes because they lack strategy. With the right preparation, though, you can handle conflict better and steer things toward the outcome you want instead of just enduring it. That's where the 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene comes into play. This book distills centuries of military strategy into practical lessons for everyday life. Whether it's office politics, personal betrayal, or high-stakes competition, these strategies empower you to take control, not as a passive observer, but as a skilled strategist. If you want actionable insights and quick references, don't forget to download the blueprint. Link in the description. There's a lot to cover, so let's dive in. But first, let's take a moment to explore the 6 key ideals Robert Greene emphasizes at the start of the book. These principles redefine warfare, shifting it from external conflict to a tool for personal growth and strategic mastery in daily life. First, see things as they are. Detach yourself from emotional biases. Strategy begins with clarity, seeing reality without the anger, fear, or wishful thinking clouding your judgment. Second, judge people by their actions. Forget what people say and focus on what they do. True intentions are revealed through consistent behavior, not promises or appearances. Third, depend on your own arms. True power comes from self-reliance. This means relying on your intelligence, skills, and effort, not on external support or luck. Fourth, worship Athena, not Ares. Athena, the goddess of wisdom and strategic warfare, represents calculated thinking and planning, while Ares represents chaotic, impulsive violence. Always choose calculated thinking over brute force. Fifth, elevate yourself above the battlefield. Focus on long-term goals. Avoid getting trapped in trivial conflicts that distract from the bigger picture. Sixth, spiritualize your warfare. See every challenge as an opportunity to grow. Battles, whether external or internal, are chances to strengthen your character and sharpen your mind. By embracing these 6 ideals, you create a foundation for not just mastering the strategies in this book, but for facing life's challenges with strength, clarity, and wisdom. This book mirrors the progression of a strategic campaign, guiding us through each stage of preparation and execution. It begins with the internal battles, mastering your mind, overcoming emotional weaknesses, and cultivating clarity. From there, it transitions to external tactics, aligning a team toward shared objectives, mastering defensive and offensive maneuvers, and ultimately, delving into the art of psychological warfare. Each phase builds on the one before it, equipping you with the precision and foresight needed to navigate and win conflicts at any level. Let's dive into the first part. Part 1. This is the art of self-directed warfare, turning your mind into your greatest weapon and your discipline into your strongest ally. Strategy 1. Declare war on your enemies. The polarity strategy. In 401, before the Common Era, Xenophon, a Greek mercenary leader, found himself leading a stranded army deep in Persian territory. Their commander was dead, their mission had failed, and morale was crumbling. Lost and without direction, the soldiers began turning on one another, consumed by fear and disunity. Xenophon understood that their greatest enemy wasn't the Persians, it was their internal chaos. He gave them a clear mission: fight their way home. This purpose united them, shifting their energy outward and transforming fear into determination. Against all odds, they succeeded, proving that clarity of purpose and a well-defined enemy are the antidotes to internal collapse. Your most dangerous enemy often resides within: self-doubt, fear, or a lack of focus. However, identifying an external enemy can transform your energy into decisive action. To fight effectively, you must first know what or who you are fighting. A well-defined enemy sharpens your focus and forces you to rise to the occasion. But identifying enemies requires precision, not paranoia. Observe behavior. Pay attention to patterns of hostility, dishonesty, or self-interest. People often disguise their true intentions, presenting themselves as allies while secretly undermining you. Test reactions. Under pressure, people reveal their true character. Watch how they respond to challenges or conflict. Beware of those who always agree with you. They may be concealing their real intentions. Stay rational. Avoid seeing enemies everywhere. Paranoia leads to self-destruction. Instead, maintain clarity and focus on identifying real threats. By identifying your enemies, you not only protect yourself from external dangers, but also refine your identity. Understanding who you oppose clarifies who you are and what you stand for. Once you've identified your enemies, don't rush into open conflict. The first battlefield is internal. Fear, ego, laziness, and self-doubt are often your greatest obstacles. Left unchecked, they can sabotage your efforts before any external conflict arises. Channel energy. Use the presence of an enemy, whether internal or external, to sharpen your skills and focus your efforts. Strengthen resolve. Define who you don't want to become. A strong sense of identity protects you from manipulation and distraction. Seek respect over popularity and stand firm in your values. Maintain control. Avoid emotional reactions or impulsive decisions. True strategists act with calm precision, saving their energy for battles that truly matter. Enemies, whether internal or external, create the tension necessary for growth. Like opposite poles of a magnet, they drive you forward by challenging your limits. Before you can confront external enemies, you must master the internal ones. Doubt, ego, and fear are far more dangerous than any rival. Only by declaring war on these forces within can you prepare yourself to face challenges in the outside world. Strategy 2. Do not fight the last war, the guerrilla war of the mind strategy. Miyamoto Musashi, one of history's most legendary samurai warriors, thrived on unpredictability. He constantly adapted his tactics, keeping his opponents nervous and off balance. By staying fluid and striking when least expected, he forces them into reactive states and gained the upper hand in countless battles. His philosophy remains timeless. What worked yesterday may fail today. Success demands constant adaptation. To rely on the past is to risk the stagnation. The greatest obstacle to growth isn't external, it's internal. The weight of your own victories and failures often holds you back. Outdated methods, cherished memories of past triumphs, and attachments to what once worked can trap you in cycles of stagnation. To thrive, never let success breed complacency. Past victories can create overconfidence, lulling you into believing that old strategies will always work. This mindset limits your ability to adapt and thrive in a changing world. And never let your past failure paralyze you. While learning from mistakes is crucial, overanalyzing them fosters hesitation. Dwelling on what went wrong blinds you to present opportunities and blocks forward momentum. Both success and failure, if not carefully managed, distort your ability to act decisively. They lead to rigid thinking, reducing your capacity for innovation and clarity. Fixed strategies and beliefs may feel secure, but they ultimately confine you. They narrow your vision and make it harder to recognize new opportunities or respond to threats. To grow, you must challenge what you know and be willing to abandon even your most trusted methods when they no longer serve you. Here's how to break free. Question everything. Treat your principles and methods as temporary. Continuously reevaluate their relevance. Be willing to adapt, even if it means discarding something that once brought success. Release the chains. Free yourself from the burden of past victories and failures. Let go of the comfort of familiarity and the fear of change. Embrace curiosity. Approach the present with the mindset of a beginner. Great strategists stay flexible, responding to each challenge with fresh ideas and bold creativity. Here's how to master the guerrilla war of the mind strategy. First, let go of old formulas. Stop repeating yourself. Yesterday's solutions won't guarantee tomorrow's success. Analyze the current situation and adapt your strategy to its unique demands. Embrace risk. Growth often requires discomfort. Trying new approaches may feel unsettling, but it's the only way to stay ahead. Second, stay fluid and flexible. Think like a gorilla. Avoid rigid strategies. Instead, remain mobile, responsive, and open to change. Third, focus on the present. Re-examine beliefs. Continuously question your principles and methods. Are they serving you now, or are they relics of a past war? Erase the memory of the last war. Learn from past mistakes, but don't dwell on them. Superior strategists are highly attuned to the present, seeing things as they are, not through the lens of outdated experiences. Engage fully in the now. Attention to the details of the moment crowds out the distractions of the past. Great strategists don't act on preconceived ideas. They respond to the moment with sharp awareness, crafting strategies that align with present realities. Fourth, innovate in relationships. Break old dynamics. Surprise those around you with new behaviors or approaches. This keeps relationships fresh and disrupts stale patterns. Redefine connections. Even in personal and professional interactions, adapting your behavior can yield stronger, more authentic connections. Relationships thrive on renewal. By embracing innovation in how you engage with others, you foster deeper, more dynamic bonds that withstand the test of time. The present is your battlefield. Superior strategists aren't those who memorize rules. They're those who see each moment with fresh eyes and respond boldly. Let go of the past, master the present, and the future will be yours to conquer. Strategy 3. Amidst turmoil, do not lose presence of mind. The counterbalance strategy. In 1801, during the Battle of Copenhagen, British Admiral Lord Nelson faced a chaotic and critical situation. His superior officer, overwhelmed by fear, signaled a retreat. But Nelson, calm and composed, famously raised his telescope to his blind eye and declared, "I see no signal." This bold defiance changed the course of the battle. Nelson took swift action, which allowed him to see the bigger picture and act decisively. Lord Nelson's example shows that staying calm and composed in the face of turmoil allows you to act decisively, inspire confidence, and turn adversity into victory. In the heat of battle, chaos reigns. Your mind is bombarded by unexpected setbacks, doubts, and even criticisms from your own allies. In these moments, it's easy to react emotionally, succumbing to fear, frustration, or despair. But success requires something greater: presence of mind. Presence of mind is the ability to rise above the noise, detach from the chaos, and perceive the situation with clarity. It's not about suppressing your emotions. It's about controlling them so they don't control you. With presence of mind, you can spot opportunities hidden in disorder, adapt swiftly to changing circumstances, inspire confidence in those around you, becoming a source of calm amidst the storm. While others drown in panic, those with presence of mind transform adversity into an advantage. Developing presence of mind is not an innate talent, but a skill anyone can master with deliberate practice. Here are a few steps to help you cultivate this invaluable mental clarity. First, train your mind for adversity. Expose yourself to challenges. Confront your fears directly. Avoidance only amplifies anxiety. The more you face adversity, the more battle-hardened your mind becomes. Stay self-reliant. Dependence on others makes you vulnerable. Build confidence by solving problems independently, trusting your judgment over others. Focus on simple tasks. When panic rises, ground yourself in small, achievable actions. Completing basic tasks restores clarity and reduces chaos. Second, suffer fools gladly. Distractions and difficult persons are inevitable. Don't let them drain your energy or attention. Treat them as minor annoyances, unworthy of emotional investment. Third, develop fingertip feel. Sharpen your ability to make quick, intuitive decisions. Practice mental agility to outpace opponents before they even realize what's happening. This mental blitzkrieg becomes your edge in high-pressure scenarios. Fourth, detach and reframe. See people as they are, not as intimidating myths. Imagine them as flawed, insecure persons or as a child, and strip away the fear they might evoke. Actively resist the emotional pull of the moment. Detachment allows you to maintain clarity and control. Cultivating presence of mind equips you with clarity and control in chaotic moments. But knowing how to apply this clarity is equally important. When facing disorder, you can choose between two key tactical approaches, depending on the situation. The hyper-aggressive tactic. When hesitation would lead to failure, act boldly and decisively. Even mistakes made with confidence can often be corrected, but inaction almost always guarantees defeat. The detached Buddha tactic. For situations that demand strategic patience, detach yourself emotionally and focus on preparation. These complementary tactics allow you to turn presence of mind into action, whether through bold aggression or calculated calmness. Presence of mind is your greatest weapon in chaotic situations. By detaching from the noise, controlling your emotions, and acting decisively, you gain clarity and control. Train your mind to thrive under pressure, and you'll find opportunities where others see only obstacles. Strategy 4. Create a sense of urgency and desperation, the death ground strategy. Fyodor Dostoevsky, one of Russia's greatest novelists, faced his mortality in the most dramatic way. Sentenced to execution, he stood before a firing squad, only to be spared at the last moment. This close brush with death changed his life forever. From that day on, he worked as if every piece of writing might be his last. He didn't wait for ideal conditions or inspiration. He wrote with urgency, producing masterpieces like Crime and Punishment. Dostoevsky's experience teaches us that when we accept the reality of limited time, we can eliminate distractions, prioritize what truly matters, and approach our work with clarity and urgency. In both war and life, transformation often arises when there's no room for hesitation. Death ground refers to a state of no retreat, where survival demands complete commitment and bold action. When your back is against the wall, urgency sharpens your focus, ignites creativity, and unlocks untapped potential. However, when you leave yourself an escape route, a backup plan, or a comfortable fallback, it divides your focus and weakens your resolve. False security keeps you from fully committing to your goals. Success demands eliminating the safety net and facing challenges head-on. Here are some tactics to activate the death ground strategy in your life. First, burn the ships. Remove fallback options. Fully commit to your goal so there's no way to retreat. When failure isn't an option, your mind sharpens, your energy surges, and you focus on the task at hand. Second, embrace mortality. Use the reality of limited time to strip away distractions. Imagine you only have a short time left. What would you prioritize? Let this urgency guide your actions and push you to live each day with purpose. Third, act before you're ready. Waiting for the perfect moment is a trap. Start before you feel prepared and let the challenge push you to adapt and grow. The pressure of action will sharpen your skills and help you thrive in high-stakes situations. Fourth, seek high-stakes situations. Comfort kills ambition. Place yourself in challenging environments where the stakes are high. This forces you to perform at your best. Leave behind stale relationships, unfulfilling routines, and unnecessary safety nets. Fifth, stay restless. Complacency is the enemy of growth. Let dissatisfaction drive you forward. Use a sense of urgency as a constant motivator, and keep taking risks to avoid stagnation. Never let comfort dull your edge or distract you from your greater potential. While urgency is a powerful tool, desperation can lead to recklessness. Avoid confronting opponents who have nothing to lose. They're unpredictable and dangerous. Instead, aim to lower their sense of urgency. lull them into complacency, then strike when they least expect it. Operating with the urgency of limited time is your greatest weapon. By placing yourself on death ground, where hesitation isn't an option, you access focus, strength, and creativity that otherwise remain dormant. In the second part of the book, the focus shifts to interactions with others and strategies to manage and lead groups. Strategy 5, avoid the snare of groupthink, the command and control strategy. Napoleon Bonaparte exemplified this through his exceptional chain of command. He carefully selected generals who shared his vision and empowered them to make decisions on the battlefield. By avoiding the stifling effects of micromanagement, he ensured flexibility and initiative, qualities that drove his success. The best leaders trust their team without relinquishing control. By empowering others to act while maintaining a clear vision, you create a chain of command that thrives under pressure. Leading a group requires balancing authority with autonomy. Too much control fosters resentment and rebellion, while too little invites chaos. The key is to build a chain of command that empowers others to act decisively while maintaining overall authority. A critical first step is assembling a skilled team that shares your values and complements your weaknesses. The right people in the right roles form the backbone of an effective chain of command. Here are some key principles for creating a chain of command that lasts. First, set clear, inspiring commands. Issue direct, motivational orders. Keep the focus on the mission, not yourself, to foster collective responsibility. Vague instructions lead to confusion, while overly rigid directives stifle initiative. Balance clarity with flexibility to keep your team engaged and proactive. Second, assign the right people to the right roles. Align your team members with roles that match their strengths. People excel when their roles match their skills, driving the mission forward. Ensure everyone feels valued and strategically positioned. Third, foster participation, not groupthink. Encourage input and collaboration, but guard against groupthink. Retain the final authority to keep the mission on track, ensuring your decisions reflect reason, not fear or irrationality. Fourth, cultivate loyalty and shared beliefs. Build trust by instilling your values in key members. Loyalty is the cornerstone of a reliable chain of command. When your team shares your vision and beliefs, they act with commitment and clarity, even without direct supervision. Weed out political schemers who can undermine trust and cohesion before they take root. A strong chain of command balances discipline with trust, authority with flexibility, and autonomy with accountability. When the right people work together under a unified vision, they become an unstoppable force. Strategy 6. Segment your forces. The controlled chaos strategy. Napoleon's corps system revolutionized leadership by dividing his army into semi-independent units, each led by trusted marshals. In the 1805 Austrian campaign, he used this system to surround Karl Marx's forces, leveraging speed and adaptability to force their surrender. Unlike rigid, centralized strategies, his approach showcased the power of flexibility in chaotic conditions. Chaos, when guided by structure, becomes a tool for victory. Empower your teams to adapt and improvise while maintaining alignment with your vision. Success in fast-paced environments relies on two critical elements: speed and adaptability. Here's how you can implement the controlled chaos strategy. Break your team into smaller, semi-autonomous groups, each with clear objectives. Trust them to make decisions on the ground without constant oversight, but hold them accountable for results. When your team understands the why behind their actions, they can improvise effectively, even in chaotic circumstances. This shared purpose ensures alignment, even when individual paths differ. Although decentralization encourages autonomy, it doesn't mean losing control. Use tools like regular check-ins, fallback plans, or predefined protocols to guide independent efforts while ensuring cohesion. This structure creates controlled chaos, freedom with boundaries, making your team agile and unstoppable. Controlled chaos is about creating flexibility without losing focus. Decentralizing decision-making allows your team to act with speed and creativity, while a shared philosophy ensures their efforts remain aligned with your vision. As a leader, your role is to create the conditions for adaptability and to instill a spirit of initiative. By mastering this strategy, you'll become unpredictable and unstoppable, whether in business, relationships, or life. Strategy 7. Transform war into a crusade. Morale strategies. Hannibal, the legendary Carthaginian general, understood the power of morale. In 281 before the Common Era, he introduced competitive war games to prepare his troops. These games weren't just training, they were a strategic tool to push his soldiers, build confidence, and foster loyalty to the cause. Morale isn't just important, it's everything. A team with high morale can achieve the impossible. As a leader, it's your job to shift focus from me to we, creating a unified effort where success is tied to collective goals. Motivating and uniting people isn't just about logic or rewards. It's about stirring emotions and inspiring action. Great leaders redirect individual self-interest toward a shared mission. Whether in business, relationships, or competitive environments, here's how to apply this strategy. First, unite around a cause. People need something bigger than themselves to believe in. Create a mission that feels urgent and meaningful, whether it's solving a critical problem or overcoming a common challenge. Second, lead from the front. Actions speak louder than words. Show your team you're willing to endure the same challenges they face. Leadership by example earns respect, loyalty, and admiration. Third, balance rewards and punishments. Too many rewards breed complacency, while excessive punishment kills morale. Effective leaders strike a balance. Rewards must feel earned, and discipline should be fair. In corporate environments, bonuses or promotions lose their value when given too frequently. Conversely, overly harsh criticism or micromanagement leads to burnout and resentment. Fourth, focus on their needs and energy. Your team's basic needs, like rest, nourishment, and manageable workloads, must be met first. Beyond that, keep them energized with clear progress and meaningful tasks. Fifth, appeal to emotions, not just logic. People are driven by emotions more than reason. Use stories, gestures, and personal connections to inspire belief and loyalty. Sixth, build a group myth. Shared victories, even small ones, build pride and identity. Over time, these experiences create a group myth that fosters loyalty and confidence. Seventh, eliminate the grumblers. Negativity spreads like a virus. As leaders, set the tone regarding grumblers who disrupt morale and undermine leadership. While healthy dissent can spark innovation, chronic negativity must be removed. Motivating a team is about balancing logic, emotion, and action. By creating a shared purpose, leading through example, and balancing discipline with rewards, you can build a team that is loyal, resilient, and ready to tackle any challenge. A motivated group will outperform even better equipped rivals because their strength comes from within. Master this strategy, and you can transform any team into a force that's truly unstoppable. Now that you've fortified your mindset and mastered the art of leadership, it's time to shift focus to the next critical phase, defending your position with precision and resilience. Welcome to Part 3, where the subtle yet powerful art of defense takes center stage. Here's how to master the art of defense. Strategy 8. Pick your battles carefully. The perfect economy strategy. Winston Churchill famously said, "You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks." His approach was rooted in focus, ignoring trivial distractions to pursue significant goals. The challenge lies in identifying which dogs are worth your energy. Some battles cannot be won, so don't start them. Others can be won, but at a cost too high to bear. True strategy is about restraint, precision, and ensuring your battles are worth your resources. In both life and war, Our most valuable resources, time, energy, and material assets, are limited. The real threat isn't just external, it's the temptation to pursue every opportunity or fight every battle, leading to overextension and burnout. True success comes from recognizing your boundaries, prioritizing wisely, and focusing your efforts where they'll have the greatest impact. Here are key insights to help you apply this strategy effectively. First, recognize your limits. Knowing your limits isn't weakness, it's strategic awareness. Success comes not from doing more, but from focusing your efforts where they'll have the greatest impact. By acknowledging limits, you can focus your energy where it matters most. Those constrained by necessity often innovate brilliantly. For instance, people in poverty find creative solutions because they must, while those with abundant resources often waste energy on distractions. Second, avoid Pyrrhic victories. Not all victories are worth the cost. A Pyrrhic victory, named after King Pyrrhus, whose triumph came at the cost of his army, teaches us that triumphs draining your resources or leaving you exposed are failures in disguise. In modern terms, consider businesses that overextend themselves for rapid growth. They often collapse under financial strain. Winning a deal or achieving quick expansion at the expense of sustainability is not true victory. Third, exploit weaknesses strategically. No one is invincible. Every adversary has vulnerabilities. The key is to assess these weaknesses carefully and focus your efforts where they will have the most impact. Avoid scattershot attacks that drain your energy. Concentrate instead on precise, decisive actions. For instance, during D-Day in World War II, Allied forces targeted a lightly defended stretch of Normandy instead of heavily fortified areas. This strategic focus on vulnerabilities shifted the course of the war. Fourth, resist the illusion of hard work. Society often promotes the idea that trying harder or working longer guarantees success, but this mindset is a trap. Overworking yourself doesn't guarantee better results. It leads to burnout. True strategy involves knowing when to act and when to hold back. Quality always outweighs quantity. One well-planned action is worth more than 100 wasted hours. Focus on impactful moves, not endless toil. Fifth, master the art of perfect economy. A successful strategy is a balance between conserving your resources and maximizing their impact. Conserve energy. Fight only the battles that are necessary. Target weaknesses. Identify your opponent's weak points and strike there for maximum effect. Leverage constraints. Let limitations fuel innovation, not hinder it. At the same time, work to exhaust your opponent's resources, forcing them into inefficiency. Practical tip: before any challenge, assess your resources and decide where to focus. Instead of chasing endless possibilities, align your plans with your strengths. True victory doesn't come from exhausting your resources, but from wielding them with precision and purpose. Recognize your limits, avoid costly engagements, and exploit weaknesses with focus. Not every fight is worth your time, energy, or resources. Choose carefully and ensure every move counts. Strategy 9, turn the tables, the counterattack strategy. During the 1944 Democratic presidential campaign, Franklin D. Roosevelt faced relentless attacks from his opponents. They slandered him in hopes of provoking an emotional response. Roosevelt remained silent until they attacked his dog. His humorous response reframed the attack as petty and desperate, humiliating his opponents while rallying public support. By holding back, Roosevelt lured his adversaries into overreaching, exposing their weaknesses and giving himself the upper hand. True power often lies in restraint. By waiting, observing, and striking at the right moment, you can turn your opponent's aggression into their downfall. In battles, whether on the battlefield, in business, or in life, moving first often puts you at a disadvantage. You reveal your strategy, limit your options, and give your opponent time to adapt. When you're forced into a defensive position, the key is not to panic, but to respond with calculated strategic moves. First, moving first can be a mistake. History shows that defenders often triumph over attackers. Defense allows for flexibility, patience, and strategic counterstrikes. Acting first exposes your strategy. Your plans become predictable, giving your opponent room to adapt. Drains your energy and resources. Moving early can leave you overextended. Gives control to your opponent. Waiting forces them to act first, exposing their weaknesses and creating opportunities for a decisive counterattack. Second, the power of silence and patience. The foundation of a successful counterattack lies in mastering your emotions, especially during moments of conflict. Staying calm while your opponent grows frustrated and irritable is key to gaining the upper hand. Silence becomes a powerful weapon. It unnerves and provokes opponents, leading them to overreact and expose their vulnerabilities. By maintaining composure, you shift control of the situation in your favor, turning their aggression into your advantage. Third, holding back is difficult. Humans instinctively want to respond to attacks, fearing that silence makes them look weak. But by resisting this urge, you gain control over the pace and direction of the conflict. For example, early in his career, Roosevelt himself was overly aggressive, responding immediately to criticism. With experience, he learned that silence allowed him to act on his terms, delivering responses with greater impact. Fourth, the counterattack. When your opponent reveals their hand, your counterattack should be sharp and decisive. Use their aggression against them. Let their natural tendencies like anger or greed lead them into traps. Mirror their actions. Reflect their behavior to frustrate and destabilize them. Fifth, applying the strategy in everyday life. The counterattack strategy extends far beyond war or politics. It's a valuable tool in everyday situations. Negotiations. Let the other side speak first to reveal their priorities, giving you leverage. Arguments. Staying calm disarms emotional opponents, forcing them to overextend or contradict themselves. Leadership. Observing before acting allows you to identify strengths and weaknesses, enabling smarter decisions. In today's fast-paced world, patience and restraint are powerful tools. Reputation management. Measured responses enhance public perception, presenting you as thoughtful and strategic. Public sympathy. The calm victim often wins favor over the aggressive attacker. The true power of the counterattack lies in patience. Let your opponent act first, reveal their weaknesses, and exhaust their energy. Then, strike with precision at the heart of their position. Whether in negotiations, leadership, or personal conflicts, silence and restraint are your ultimate tools. The one who strikes last always strikes best. Strategy 10. Create a threatening presence. Deterrence strategies. In 1862, during the American Civil War, General Stonewall Jackson intimidated his adversary, George McClellan, by exposing all his flaws and weaknesses. This calculated psychological warfare planted seeds of doubt and fear, paralyzing McClellan's actions. The lesson is clear. Make your opponents believe they cannot win, and they will retreat. Fear breaks resolve, but remember, empty threats can backfire. If your bluff is called and you're not prepared to act, your deterrence crumbles. Barking without biting is fatal. The best way to win a fight? Prevent it from happening. Deterrence is about perception. Create an aura of danger and unpredictability that makes others think twice before challenging you. Aggressors thrive on weakness, seeking easy victories. If you disrupt their expectations by projecting boldness, madness, or readiness to retaliate, you eliminate threats before they take form. It's not about brute strength. It's about making them believe attacking you isn't worth the cost. Deterrence applies to everyday life. At the workplace, build a reputation for setting boundaries. If you consistently defend yourself against small aggressions, larger threats won't even come your way. In personal life, enforce clear boundaries in relationships. People respect those who make it clear that crossing them comes with consequences. But if your opponent decides to attack, there are 5 key methods of deterrence and reverse intimidation. While effective in offensive warfare, they are particularly powerful when used in defense. First, shock with boldness. When someone does attack because they underestimate you, respond with boldness and unpredictability. This move will force them to reevaluate their assumptions. This could mean threatening something they value or showing a readiness to sacrifice. They will tend to think your move is backed up by something real. This way, they will start to see strengths and threats in you that they had not imagined. For example, in 1962, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, President Kennedy's bold blockade of Cuba and demand for missile removal forced the Soviet Union to back down. His decisive action left no room for doubt. Second, reverse the threat. If challenged, turn the tables. Threaten something your opponent values. However, empty threats will ruin your credibility. If you signal your willingness to retaliate, you must be prepared to act on it when necessary. Only inflict a little pain to indicate you are capable of worse. You don't need to cause excessive harm to your aggressor, just enough to signal your seriousness without escalating the conflict. Third, be unpredictable. A little madness goes a long way. People are terrified of those who seem reckless or willing to lose everything just to take their opponent down with them. This is particularly effective with people who have a lot to lose themselves. Fourth, play on people's fear and paranoia. Instead of threatening your opponents openly, you take action that is indirect and designed to make them think. By creating doubt about the consequences of aggression, you make it harder for others to act against you. Fifth, build a reputation. Over time, cultivate an image that deters aggression. Be known as someone who doesn't back down or someone unpredictable when pushed. This reputation can be for any number of things: being difficult, stubborn, ruthlessly efficient. By mastering the art of deterrence, you create an aura of strength and unpredictability that discourages threats before they arise. Make others believe the cost of challenging you is too high to bear. However, if conflict becomes unavoidable, use these 5 strategies to respond decisively. With these tools, you not only protect yourself, but ensure that future conflicts are deterred before they even begin. Strategy 11. Trade space for time. The non-engagement strategy. In the early days of the Chinese Civil War, Mao Zedong's communists were forced to retreat. At that time, if the nationalists had pursued them, they likely would have won. However, this withdrawal was not an act of surrender, but a calculated move to regroup, unite the peasantry, and grow their influence. By 1949, the communists had turned the tide, decisively defeating the nationalists with overwhelming support. Sometimes granting your opponent a small victory is the best way to position yourself for a greater win. By frustrating your enemy and dictating the terms of engagement, you gain leverage while weakening their position. Victory doesn't always require direct confrontation. Sometimes the smartest move is to retreat, not in surrender, but to gain time and set the stage for your opponent's downfall. This is the essence of Strategy 11. If your opponent forces engagement, there are key principles of strategic retreat that turn non-action into an advantage. First, withhold action to gain control. Retreating is often misunderstood as a sign of weakness. However, in the realm of strategy, it can be a display of immense strength and discipline. By retreating, you gain valuable time to recover, reassess, and allow your opponent to overextend themselves. Let your enemy advance. Time is often more valuable than territory. Their overconfidence and impatience will expose vulnerabilities you can exploit. Second, exploit overextension. Patience is your greatest weapon. A strategic retreat forces your enemy to stretch their resources, making them vulnerable to mistakes. Over time, their overreach leads to fatigue, poor decisions, and eventual collapse. As they burn through energy and supplies, you remain calm, conserving strength for the right moment. During World War I, a fascinating example of this strategy played out in East Africa. The English commander General Smuts faced the German forces led by Colonel Paul von Lettow-Vorbeck. Smuts, expecting a quick victory, advanced on the much smaller German army, hoping to finish them off quickly so his forces could move to more critical theaters of the war. Instead of engaging, Paul von Lettow-Vorbeck led his men on a strategic retreat, consistently staying one step ahead. Smuts, believing he had his enemy cornered, chased him across rivers, mountains, and forests. In the process, Smuts's army grew exhausted from constant pursuit, demoralized by small but relentless attacks from the German forces. Over time, hunger, disease, and attrition decimated Smuts's forces, without a single major battle taking place. Third, turn non-engagement into a weapon. Strategic withdrawal confuses and frustrates aggressors, often pushing them to act impulsively. For instance, walking away from a negotiation can force the other party to reconsider their stance and offer better terms. Fourth, sacrifice space to control time. Allowing your enemy to take land or make gains doesn't mean they've won. While your enemy expends resources to secure territory, you conserve yours, waiting for the perfect opportunity to counterattack. Regaining lost ground is possible. Wasted time is not. For example, in business, this is evident when a smaller company steps back from direct competition, allowing a larger competitor to overreach. As the larger company exhausts its resources by overinvesting in unsustainable growth, the smaller company conserves its strength, waiting for the right opportunity to strike back or seize an opening. Time is more valuable than space. You can regain lost ground, but time spent wisely is a permanent advantage. Frustration as a weapon. A strategic retreat leaves your opponent guessing, increasing their chances of overextending or making mistakes. Retreat with purpose. A controlled withdrawal shows strength, not weakness. Always maintain focus on your long-term goals.